Good night. What's going everyone? What's going on everyone? In Pacific time it's not nighttime. It's probably like the afternoon. But shout out to everyone. Shout out to all my American homies. And if you guys are international shout out to you guys. So today's gonna be a very short show. But I did want to talk about the new Batman trailer. I want to talk about that a little bit, and I want to mostly react to a very stupid video by Midnight's Edge. Shocker. I mean, they always have like really bad takes. They're starting to become, to me, one of the worst offenders. Like, oh my god, they're garbage. All right, you know the deal. I'm gonna give people 15 seconds, so just 15, 30 seconds, just chill. I just want to find out if anyone wants to jump on. If not, we'll get started. And to all my viewers out there, feel free to jump on. I don't, I'm not shy. I'm open to like guests and stuff coming on. I'll leave the link in the chat if anyone wants to join. All right, we'll give it 10 more seconds. Let me just set this up. All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about is that new Batman trailer. Let me just add this to the screen so I can show you guys. Cool. Very cool. Super cool. All right. So I obviously would love to react to it live, but you know the deal. I don't want to get copyright. I don't really know the ins and outs. So I'll have to do more research into it. But I did see the Batman trailer. This is the trailer number 3 called The Bat and the Cat or The Cat and the Bat. And here's my thoughts. Now, the one thing I want to tell you guys is what I don't do is I don't go into speculation in terms of the story. That's for you guys, but it's also for me, honestly. I don't want to know all about the plot when coming into these movies. I honestly wish I didn't see this trailer because I think I saw a little bit too much. The last trailer was perfect. This was good, and I'm going to explain why it was good too. I just thought, well, it could have held back some more footage. I felt it was a little too much. But let's get this started. So, um, I believe the first scene, there's like this little thing where someone's like, "Hey, you should do more in the city because of spoilers, of course. This is the trailer, but spoilers. But this lady basically, I don't know who she is, or maybe she represents, or she definitely knew the Wayne family. But she was like, "Hey, maybe you should be doing more for the city." I don't know if she's a politician or whatnot, but she was telling him that, and then it's ironic because he's doing stuff. Maybe it's not charity or philanthropy like his family is, but he's like kicking crime or whatever. And it's like just opposing the irony when he's like, stumping on crime, like literally. You know what I'm saying? So that was pretty funny. Um, but what I noticed instantly is the cinematography style, like just the way it's shot. Like, man, there's some really nice shots. Just man, just like very creative shots. Like, and if he's putting this kind of creativity of shots into basically the action, and from what I can tell in the first part of the trailer, that looks like what's going on. Just man, we're gonna have some beautiful, probably the most beautiful looking Batman pause. I mean, like the actual movie, and some of the most like some really good action scenes because even towards the end they showed some of the fighting and it looked all on camera. Now I love the Christopher Nolan movies, but a lot of times in that movie it'd be a lot of like quick cuts, just like arm bar, arm, elbows, elbows, a lot of elbows, and then just cut. And we didn't really go into the movie for the action. It was more for the story. But this looks like it's going to deliver on both, and I'm glad to see that. Another thing I'm glad to see is there is actually some detective work. You know, I personally, I think it's a cool angle because I guess we never saw it, but fans really wanted detective work here. So you're gonna get some detective work, okay? Because it looks like they're trying to go for that detective neo noir theme in this movie. It looks like Seven and some other '90s thrillers combined with the Christopher Nolan aesthetic. That's what it looks like to me. Um, Another cool thing that I liked was it showed more of the dynamic between Batman and Catwoman. It looks like Catwoman it will be integral to the movie, which I thought she'll be in there often. So there's a little romance. It also seems from this movie, from what I can tell, there seems to be a progression. Ah, well, let's see. I'm trying to predict story. I told myself I wouldn't do that, but let me not do that. But like, whatever. It's just going to show like the progression of like the budding romance, and there does look like there's chemistry. Um, Overall, I'm liking where this is going. Like, this is probably my most anticipated super movie that next year. Like, the only one I'm really looking forward to. Like, yes, I like Shazam. Yes, I'm looking forward to that, but not like this. Like, this is like hella anticipated, and it better be good. I hope they deliver on it. I think it will be. I think it'll be at least decent, at least. But I think it has the potential to be great, like a great comic book film. And I cannot freaking wait. I really can't. It comes out when? March. What's the date? March 4th. So like a week from my birthday. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. If you guys like Batman and if you guys like Pisces, thumbs up for that. All right. Now, let's get to the meat of the substance. So we go from that really good trailer to this garbage. I'll show you guys. Share the screen. Oops. Hold on. What did I just do? What the heck? Hold on, guys. Hold on. Let me try this again. There we go. All right. So you see here we have three uniquely dumb asses on the screen. I don't really know who these guys are. This guy obviously works for Andre or whatever his name is, the Norwegian guy. Um, I don't think they know anything about movies. I don't think they really actually care. I think it's mostly about the politics for them. These are the type of guys who always claim they want politics out of their movies, but then they actually honestly admit that no, they want politics. They just want their version of politics in the movie. And you guys already know my thing on that. It's always been politics. And if you really want your politics, I don't know, make it profitable, bro. Like, be about it instead of talking about it. Be about it. You know what I'm saying? I know you can. You can. Just be about it. Like, if you really want more right wing political movies, be about it. Because if it's good, I'll watch it. Just don't make it trash. Like, starting the independent scene. Try to get an audience. I see you guys have like a lot of viewers. What, like 10,000 views? How many subscribers? 200,000 subscribers. So ask them to support it. Ben Shapiro. He had on production company. Support that. If it's good, it's good. My favorite conservative movie probably is Gone with the Wind, and then a modern conservative. Well, some people argue neoliberal. I think it's just conservative. Is The Dark Knight. That's a conservative movie, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? It's not obvious, but there is conservative values in there, right? So I guess you could argue neoliberal, but Dark Knight Rises for sure conservative. But anyways, let's get started. Now, here I just want to let you guys know. I think they're having a conversation about what was it? Was it Spider-Man? Like they're using Spider-Man breaking the box office as an example of why every other movie should do this good during COVID. And that COVID doesn't matter and doesn't impact the box office. Yada yada yada. Basically, it's just they're like, oh, it's an excuse. Whatever. Let's see what they say.
Brand can survive anything. And we saw 3 films that proved that wrong. So now they're going to
Exactly.
switch over and say the Spider-Man brand can survive anything. In which case, are they going to start working Spider-Man, whether it be Toby, Andrew, or Tom Holland, into?
By the way, I hope everyone can actually hear what's going on. I was about to say see what's going on, but hear what's going on. But yeah, just let me know in chat if you can hear it.
Any future installments to try and get that $1 billion box office again. Like
A
that's
whole
going
lot
to
of
be the
yes.
easiest. That's going to be
Yeah.
the easiest plan that some execs are going to go for. The hardest one is, can we really tell a great entertaining story that has, role models? Because that's the one thing that we've been missing for the last 20 years in our film is like role models, people that they want to be like and that they want their kids to grow up to be like. We don't have that as frequently in the big budget, tentpole, heavily advertised films anymore.
This is the first time I've seen it in ages, now that you mentioned it.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Like the last time you saw it was what, Spider-Man 2?
Stop. That's a dumb take. Oh, I wish I had a counter so we can count how many dumb takes. Remember, and later on in this thing, they make fun of another movie which I'm about to reference. They said, "Wow, we need more role models in movies." Like golly gee, I wish we had more role models in movies. For our kids and stuff. Golly gee. By the way, when they say it, I know that they're not just talking about like a guy with good morality or just an overall good guy, does the right thing, stands for social justice. No, they're probably just talking about the okey doke, the gee golly, kind of white guy, I guess, with no flaws or something. I'm guessing that's what they're trying to hint at, because by their own logic, if that was the case, they would like Shang-Chi, right? Asian superhero. I can't really think of any other Asian superhero but him. A lot of Asians, kids or whatever, can look up to him. Um, really good character, doesn't like to kill, very has morals. You guys hated that movie, and you hate the actor and that character apparently. Well, at least the way they did in the movies. And there's others movies like what is it, Spider Verse, which you hate because the character is black. But there's other characters that have representation and still has that good guy code of honor and basically, wanting to help his community or just overall a good person, a good old American. And you guys hate all those movies, I guess, because they're not white, and you call those movies woke. So if you're talking about you said that, so that was dumb. That was dumb just because we have had a bunch of movies like that. Um, B, it's dumb. What was the other reason why that was dumb? Yeah, we've had a bunch of movies that have had role models in there already. B, it's also dumb because why are you looking for a movie to teach your kid anything? Why? Now, I get this is just good social programming, which I thought you guys would be against, but I get it. I get it's good, and yeah, I agree with that. I actually agree there should be more representation and all that, but it's just dumb. Like sometimes a director just wants to write about an overall bad guy. There's a lot of character pieces like that. For example, I recently rewatched, not rewatched, watched There Will Be Blood. Not a good guy at all, and we followed the story mostly through his eyes and his perspective. Not a good guy. Actually, it's kind of a warning tale. A guy who's obsessed with him, who only cares about himself, who's obsessed with his money, etc. He basically does a lot of bad stuff. He's a murderer, all of that, and he does it because he's greedy, right? So I don't know what you're talking about, man. Yeah, gee golly, I wish we had more role models in our movies. I've never seen that before. Oh my god, this was a different character. I've never seen Spider-Man or any characters like this before. In the last 20 years, Captain America. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Oh my god, these guys are idiots.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but that's where we are.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we are.
Well, I mean,
It's not true.
First of all, I mean, we could get into the whole Scotty Mendelson thing, which Andre has a video coming out, so I don't want to get too deep into it. But Lord Almighty,
Well,
King-
let's do it. Let's do it anyway because
The King of Bad.
because we have an editorial about it, but
Oh, it's gonna be about the
Scott
Spider-Man.
Mendelson, he has many bad takes, but this is
You
the
guys
worst
have a lot
one.
of bad takes.
And
but
this
Should we
is-
start calling him Scotty Menstruation then?
Spider-Man?
I'm sure he must have been called worse in his time.
I don't care about
But
that.
Well,
anyway, this has to do.
if
with
you like the
trying
King of
to
Bad takes,
rationalize the
Andre,
numbers
that is my that's my
at large, and
Two takeaways. Beyond
Dang,
Spider-Man
because you're-
making all the money, first Shang-Chi's 54% drop is even more impressive. Second, this further shows that the whole Star Wars fans and general audience hate Last Jedi discourse was even more obviously a fabricated narrative. The general audience hate Last Jedi. I know a lot of Star Wars fans hate the not all of them, but not all of them, but a good portion do really do hate that movie. But I don't know. I mean, for a movie that was hated, it still made it like $1 billion. It was still successful. I think it's in like the top 10. So I don't know. Whatever.
You're not even comparing apples to oranges here. You're comparing like sharks to fucking umbrellas. Like that's really what it feels like at this point.
yeah, it reminds me of some level of argumentation that is in an old Norwegian. Of course, the Danes are going to insist that it's Danish. Show off his skills and everything, how smart he is. So he uses logic to convince a woman that she's a rock.
I don't care. Let's just get to the whole Spider-Man discourse.
Where
Yeah.
like
Or that there's a new variant that sounds like a transformer that everyone in the media is
More,
freaking.
like I said, this reveals your politics. It's more stuff about the virus and how it has no impact, and they're also trying to downplay it. That it's no big deal. They're probably all vaccinated. If we're being honest, they're probably all vaccinated.
second film in a third, or actually more like the eighth film in a ninth film franchise.
Hold on, let's go back. I just
All
okay. Let's listen. Oh my god, my computer sucks.
To the second weekend drop of The Last Jedi, and everyone loves Spider-Man No Way Home. Then it also follows, according to Scott Mendelson, that everyone must have loved The Last Jedi too, and the narrative that people don't like it is just a fabrication.
completely unrelatable, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's. I mean, it's really
okay, a
that's
better
what I think
argument
is
than
really
what I
the
said
thing.
earlier was like when Stan Lee got pissed off at Frederick Wertham, and because Frederick Wertham tried to equate that all juvenile delinquents read comic books, and Stan's like, well, almost every kid reads comic books. He's like, all kids drink milk too. Does that mean they're, just because one equates with doesn't equate the other, right? Like it just you're completely drawing two parallels that
Oh,
don't
come
have
on.
anything to
Get
do
the
with the
point,
other.
bro.
Like, because first of all, they're two completely different franchises. You're talking a second film in a third, or actually more like the eighth film in a ninth film franchise compared to a technical third point, 25th or 6th film in his franchise. It's not even comparable, right? In any way, shape, or form. And then
They're missing the point. This is how dumb their brains are. The only thing he was trying to say, even though I don't really agree with the statement, what he's trying to say is that basically The Last Jedi and Spider-Man are, and I think Spider-Man might outpace Last Jedi. It did drop a large amount though, but basically they're going to Spider-Man No Way Home is going to match the box office of Star Wars The Last Jedi because I think it follows the same projection. Don't quote me on that. I didn't really look at the numbers that hard, like in comparison, but it probably will make around or a little more than The Last Jedi. That seems where the trajectory is headed. So all he's saying is that for two movies who are making around the same, you guys are praising one and hating on the other. Maybe it's the case that if we're just going by the logic that everyone loves Spider-Man because of the money, then we should also go by the logic that maybe everyone loves Star Wars: The Last Jedi because look how much money it made as well. Now, I don't really agree with that because there's just we have like general audience reviews and it's night and day. I mean, that's obvious. And we'll see, man. We'll see. Like, I don't want to say that like outright. Spider-Man is definitely the superior film. I could say that objectively, but
Shang-Chi bringing that into the mix is just fucking confusing the matter even more, right? Like, what does Shang-Chi have to do with Spider-Man? Like, none of the things that happened with Shang-Chi have anything to do with Spider-Man. Didn't open up on a holiday weekend like Spider-Man did.
I mean, Labor Day weekend.
Okay, so there you go. All right, well,
What it made in one weekend, Spider-Man made in one day.
exactly. And then and going back to my point before, I wish Mike was here this morning, and I'm not trying to make him feel bad, but no, like, because he goes and breaks down the numbers by day. Scott's not taking into consideration what this movie made every single day of this last week. That's how it got to this $1 billion this weekend.
I'm sure he must do privately, but
And
not
it
in
dropped
public.
That's
huge
my
amount.
point. Is he's
Public,
completely
he has a
ignoring it for his
narrative to
narrative.
protect.
Exactly. He's ignoring the fact. Oh, sure, it had this percentage of a drop off this weekend, but it made that much every single fucking day of the week beyond that.
Doesn't matter. What's the end result?
Duh,
We're not living in
Scotty.
normal. We're not living in a normal time.
Sorry, I went rambling there.
Yes, you did. Come on. Next point.
It sounds like you're eating something, Andre. So I'm going to jump to this super chat real quick. Brightest Day, how you doing? Says, so our parent company, Warner Brothers, made us make a sequel. Yeah, that brings us...
This stuff with the Matrix, I agree on. I don't really care about. They can shat on that all they want.
Honestly, it would have been better if they had done the movie without them, because that way
I agree.
They still would have gotten paid, and it wouldn't have been a blot on the Wachowski record.
They have so many blots. Come on. Yeah, guys, I'm getting to the really juicy part.
I think they were going to lose the rights if they didn't do something. And I think that the Wachowskis were involved because they had the ability to, and that was it. But I could be wrong. But speaking of
we're getting to the
companies,
CBS.
Michael Miller brings up Viacom again and says that here the stock call in February is going to be explosive and a bloodbath for executives. Well,
I have no doubt it will.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall for that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the mismanagement of Viacom CBS, not by poor shoddy Redstone, who really needs to go in and fire everyone because they're destroying her company and her legacy. Really, really are. It's mismanaged to hell. It's unbelievable exactly how something can be as mismanaged as
when you're
Viacom
expecting
CBS.
the guys from South Park to save your company, you're fucked.
They're the best that they have. I mean,
That's all they got. Yeah.
They're A-listers. That, and they have a bunch of Alex Kurtzman that only keeps on bringing the company down to the ground. And yeah, I mean, they ensured that there's no recovery for Star Trek. They're running that into the ground. So, what the hell are they thinking?
Exactly.
Well, actually, we do know they're thinking woke, because they're
thinking woke.
Here's like the issue: the executives aren't concerned with making money for the company, or so at the very least it seems. Instead, they appear to be all about virtue signaling and the cocktail parties and stuff like that on someone else's dime.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Rogue Handle says it's all about spreading propaganda in the agenda. Communists do not care about profits. Well, that's kind of where Scotty comes from in a sense.
Well, actually, here's like the thing that communists care about profits more than anyone else, provided they themselves get it, and those are the people at the top. And then you have all the useful.
I'm confused. So he said that these companies don't care about profits. Like, he just said that. Like, I gotta roll that back. Didn't you just say that these companies don't seem to care about profits? They seem to care about politics or an agenda. Then someone like a super chat, which is dumb as hell, said, "No, they just care about spreading communist propaganda." Right? Then he basically just contradicts himself and says, "Oh, no, that's the thing. Communists care a lot about profits as long as it's going to the top." Which, by the way, that sounds like companies or corporations, unless you're trying to say the top is like government. Like, I'm confused though what they're saying there. But hold on, let's go back. We're gonna play that one more time. It was just a lot of rambling that I didn't really understand and see what the relevance was. Let's check that one more time.
I mean, the mismanagement of Viacom CBS, not by poor shoddy Redstone.
Remember, he's protecting
he's protecting a
CEO there,
destroying her company and her legacy.
I guess she has the most shares in that company.
Mismanaged to hell. It's unbelievable exactly how how something can be as mismanaged as
When you're
Viacom
expecting the
CBS.
guys from South Park to save your company, you're fucked.
They're the best that they have. I mean,
That's all they
really
got,
are
yeah.
their A-listers. That, and they have a bunch of Alex Kurtzman that only keeps on bringing the company down to the ground. And yeah, I mean, they ensured that there's no recovery for Star Trek. They're running that into the ground. So what the hell are they thinking?
Exactly. And
Well,
then
actually, we do know they're thinking woke, because there's like the issue. The executives aren't concerned with making money for the company, or so at the very least it seems. Instead, they appear to be all about virtue signaling and the cocktail
He did
parties and
it.
stuff like that.
He did it again. He said it. He said it seems like the executives don't seem like they're really into making money for the don't seem like they're trying to make money for the corporation or whatever. It doesn't seem like they're trying to like make money for the stockholders or whatnot, right? That's what it seems like. It seems like they're trying to virtue signal, right? That's what he says. Remember, he just said that, right? Like it seems like they're not in it for profit, but in it for propaganda. You remember, he just said that. Watch him contradict himself when he gets a super chat in like about a minute. 1 second, guys. This is funny. Look at the chat about communists or whatever.
On someone else's dime.
yeah, and speaking of that, Rogue Handle says it's all about spreading propaganda and the agenda. Communists do not care about profits. Well, that's kind of where Scotty comes from in a sense.
Well,
but
actually,
more-
here's like the thing that communists care about profits more than anyone else, provided they themselves get it, and those are the
Yeah.
people at the top. And then you have all the useful idiots below them. They're the ones that do the actual destruction.
pretty much. And then Naked Fame says Shari Redstone is
They couldn't really add on to it. I would love someone to ask him, what is communism? Probably couldn't tell you. All right, so he basically says, oh yeah, say again, he said, oh, they're not really in it for profit, they're in it for an agenda, woke and all that. They're losing money on purpose or whatever because they're just in it for messaging. Then he goes, no. When he sees that, oh, that communists aren't really in it for profit, he goes, which would make more sense in terms of what they're trying to portray. But then he contradicts that and goes, no, they're actually in it for profit. As long as they care about profit the most, as long as provided it goes to the top and only the top gets it, which sounds like capitalism, unless when you say the top, it means government. And then that means you would be making the argument that, I guess, if you really want to help them out, that the government owns Hollywood or something, or all these different companies, which there's no evidence for at all. But let's continue. Now I'll break it all down.
the embodiment of greed. Yeah, when you said that, I wasn't so sure. Like, I'd be like, I don't know if she's the answer per se. I mean, she's the one who put a lot of these people in place.
He doesn't even agree with this.
Yeah, and now she needs to understand that in order to be a good greedy person, she needs to fire everyone and start over.
They do this weird thing where they love protecting certain executives. I don't know why. They love protecting executives and they love shatting on artists or people who are lower. Like, for example, they'll never go after stockholders, for example, like the major stockholders. Or like it's just really weird who they choose to go after. It's always like more of the people on the lower end of the totem pole.
Because she
Yeah.
has the wrong people running her company. She needs to hire greedy people that want to make money rather than communists that want to send a message. And she has too many of those, and they're destroying her company.
Yeah,
I'm so confused. So are they trying to make money? Are these communists trying to make money? Or are these communists just only care about their messaging in spite of making money? And then what does that make her for hiring communists? Did the government force her hand like they're the CCP? Hey, you commies. Hey, you better hire some commies. And they got to be government controlled commies. Like, this is some harebrained conspiracy shite, huh? I don't know if do they believe in what they're saying right now, or is it just like entertainment? You know what I'm saying? I don't really know right now. Let's continue.
transfer them all to Western Union. That their entire specialty is sending messages.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, she may be the embodiment of greed, but she has been a very poor embodiment of that so far.
So
She
you guys
needs
are
to
cool
do
with greed.
better. She needs to be more greedy, and to that end, she needs to hire
needs to act
people
like
who
daddy.
will be greedy.
Go fuck a bunch of bitches, eat some steaks, and make Star Trek better
Okay.
again. Then you'll be better.
Okay.
Yeah. What she needs to do is like hire executives.
By the way,
and say,
they really
"Okay, I
hate Star
want
Trek
you to
Discovery.
make money for
They
me,
really hate that
and in
show.
order for you to
I don't
make
know
money for me,
Well, I
you're
do
going
know
to
why.
get like a huge cut of the money that you make for me.
Let
I
me
want
see.
no message, nothing like that. Just do whatever you need to do to make money by way of."
I know they really hate Star Trek Discovery, but guys, let me show you something. I don't want to move it. Star Trek Discovery, it looked like on the Rotten Tomatoes, they have like a 40%. Sorry, in terms of critic score, right now, season 4 currently is at like 90% audience rating. I mean, critics rating. The audience rating, and I have to look at how much, how many reviews were put out by the audiences because I don't know if it's like review bombed or not. But that is extremely low. So there is that. But I looked on YouTube just to see or get a general feel. Even guys like Angry Joe, who don't really like woke stuff at all, he liked this show. I personally did not check it out. I can't really tell you, to be honest. I don't really care. But it seems to me like this, like it got another season. If it was that bad, it would have been canceled. Kind of like what's that anime that got canceled? Cowboy Bebop did, and so I don't really understand what they're trying to say. Like, are you just mad at Star Trek Discovery because it doesn't have Captain Kirk and because it's a black female? Is that what's going on? Is she a lesbian or something? I don't know. It's just weird, very weird, very strange. And also, it's funny that they keep saying they need to be more greedy. It's like, wait, you don't think greed is the issue right now? And I'll get to what I mean, but
If the people wanting our products, greed is the solution.
it's like you're saying that like companies are not greedy right now. What are they
Look
talking
at
about?
yourself.
Ad break. Like CBS, it's a conglomerate. CBS is a conglomerate with Viacom and what else? Let me see. It's a merger company. CBS, Viacom has MTV, Nickelodeon, Paramount. So this is like a big conglomerate that recently formed. When did they form? I know it was recent. The last, so like 2018, 2019. I don't know, man. Like, it seems to me like they're pretty greedy, right? They have like a lot of properties under their belt.
Not saying it's good, but Gordon
Yes, you
Gekko
are
has
saying it's
never
good.
been more right than right now. Greed, for lack of better word, fighting what they're certainly fighting within Viacom CBS is good.
Well, and this is what I don't get, right? Like, okay, first of all,
You're
you
gonna
never
say
want to
one
give
more
the customer
stupid
something
thing.
they don't want. You want to give them something they want. But the problem we usually run into with corporations, normally in the past, is they try to fill it up with things that, cost less for them and make the product less for us. When it comes to entertainment, there's no real need for that. And especially when you're spending the kind of money that they've been spending on these movies nowadays, like we should be getting these dream projects, right? Like,
Absolutely, yeah.
We should. Instead, we're getting nightmare projects.
No, there's no reason in a world where we're spending $200 million on a production that we shouldn't be able to get, basically just about any. There's no okay.
We should be able to
If I
see
may?
every single dollar in that
Yeah.
movie. We shouldn't be
Yeah,
able to
if
say,
I
"Oh, I
may.
can do this on my phone better."
Yeah. If I may, every single movie at that price tag should be Spider-Man No Way Home.
Exactly. Great. That's a
Yeah.
great example, right? Like, because my point was going to be a little bit different, but it's true. Like, okay, back in the day, the whole thing with Lord of the Rings was it was unfilmable, right? Dune was unfilmable.
Oh, boy. How much
We've
money
hit the
did Dune
point where
make?
that's not a problem anymore.
Not that much,
You
right?
can
That was
basically
due to
do
greed.
anything. The only thing that stops you from doing it is your own imagination and maybe something that's just so existentially, impossible to turn into a script.
And then it's
I would
just
say,
a challenge.
yeah, it's
No more.
imagination and education. You need to have know stuff in order to imagine things that you don't have to fill the gaps of what you don't know, right? So
Exactly.
And that's a hard thing to reconcile because again, when you take a look at some of these movies like 150, 100, 120, 180, $200 million production, they should be relatively immaculate. And that starts all the way from the source. Like, is the concept good? Yes. What type of story are we telling? It's, a hero's journey or, a mystery or any other genre. Okay, great. How do we do this the best we can? But
None
we
of
don't
these
have that
guys
at
have
any point
actually worked
because
on
it's
a
all
film, by
about
the
being
way.
at the first in the race as opposed to being the best in the race. And I mean, in some cases, the best can also be the first, but it's like, nah, it's a different type of race. It doesn't follow the same type of rules as normal and athletic event. It's basically you just have to be the best on the field. And
Pause, man. Pause. I'm gonna end it soon. Okay, so in this portion of the video, they're talking about how like they're not being greedy enough, and oh my god, back in the past, corporations would make something for cheap, but they would try to tailor it to customers because they're trying to get as much money cheap for them, but it also appeals to customers or whatever, right? Okay, and they're trying to apply that to Hollywood, although Hollywood is a little bit of a it's not the factors in what's successful is not actually it's not easily controllable. Like the variable is not as controllable as other types of businesses because this is definitely dealing with more with art, right? And entertainment. And basically how people view entertainment has definitely changed over time. It's much harder to make a successful movie. A movie, even if it's good, successful. Case in point, Blade Runner. Case in point, Dune. It did decently. Um, Not good enough. I think Shang-Chi did make more money for I think less the budget. So um when they say that, oh, I thought like increasing the budget, even though we know that's because there's like better technology and CGI and all that stuff. But I thought increasing the budget would mean that companies should make money, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. I'm like, yeah, no, like, yeah, no shot, idiot. It's never been that way. No matter how much money you spent, did not mean that you would get quality films because different things can happen. Maybe you hired the wrong guy and you can complete the vision. Maybe the script didn't turn out as well or translate well to the screening as you thought. So many different factors. So many different factors that can happen and ruin the movie. It's a team effort. So not easily controllable at all, not easily controllable at all. So, I mean, and everyone, and even great directors have a bad day at the office. And even if the movie's good, unless it's a brand name franchise nowadays, it doesn't mean anything. Especially that's why like they pick and choose. They're very picky on who to give a big budget to nowadays. Very picky. Usually has to be a super film or a nostalgia type of piece, right? Like I don't know, Stranger Things kind of thing, like very nostalgia based. Um, and yeah, it has to be something that people recognize. Like other than that, they're not giving, like they're not shelling out dough like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just weird. It's just very weird. Their logic, like, oh yeah, they're different from the past. Like no, they're the freaking same. Actually, they're pretty greedy, even more greedy nowadays than ever before. That's the real issue with movies. That and audiences not turning up for like more original content because they have trends, they have data, they're trying to predict what you guys are going to go and watch. That's why they always have these projections and stuff like that, like, oh, this is projected to do well. So I just don't know what they're talking about.
and do what you can, and it's really really hard to do
Corporations
that
back
if
then
you're
were so good.
set on just
Oh
being
my
the
God.
first to say I did this and this instead of realizing like you may have done it first but I did it best. And that's kind of like where it is, right? Like the old sci-fi genre films of like B movies and whatnot, yeah, they did it first, but then George Lucas comes around, he does it best. And then Star Trek on the TV side of things, they did sci-fi better than Irwin Allen. They didn't necessarily do it first, but they did do it better. So you know that's kind of what you have to sort of realign your perspectives. It's not so much about being the first; it's about being the best, and that
I'm glad you
coincides
brought
with your
that
greed
up.
is good.
Oh God.
Because I think that's a lot
Yeah,
of the
greed
problem
is
with a
good.
lot of the mentality of some of these people going into this. You know, politics aside, it's this whole idea of I've got to be the first. You know, that we saw that especially with Star Trek. Oh, the first black captain, the first this, the first that. It's like,
What's the
no,
quality of
you
the
guys
show?
clearly
like?
didn't watch your own goddamn show.
Yeah, or my favorite, be the first Asian to ever star in an.
Yeah, they're gonna hate on Shang-Chi or whatever.
They went hardcore.
All right, we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop there. There's like one more part I'm gonna show you guys. And it's dealing with Spider-Man. They make a really they have a really horrendous take that I want to find. But let's just go cover what they talked about before. First of all, these companies are not freaking communists. Like, I don't know if he's trying to say that like the government or CCP is in charge. They're not communists, my dude. Have you ever wondered these guys, or maybe they know they're playing stupid, but maybe they're trying to appeal to minorities and stuff because I don't know, the population of like America is changing. I mean, you're gonna have to more like especially this new generation is a lot more diverse. Maybe they're trying to appeal to Gen Z because they don't go to the movies that much. Maybe they're also trying to appeal to all the diverse groups because they're trying to get them to come go see their movies because they know that the population is not just white people or Caucasian people. It's going to be, brown, black, yellow, whatever, bro. Also, remember, we're living in a global economy where there's other countries and other markets, big ones like China. Maybe they're also trying to appeal to all those countries. Spread the net. Why keep it small, not make as much money when you can make a lot of boatloads by appealing to all these different groups? And I know they want to hear it, but a lot of the youth, especially, again, with the Gen Z thing, they swing more liberal. They're much more liberal, much more progressive. So you got to add all these factors, bro. And you're just ignoring it. They're just taking it as, nah, bro. We're in our 40s. I'm pretty sure they're in their 30s or late 30s. Nah, bro, we're still in like some old generation. Nah, it's the same. It's exactly the same. America's mostly white. America's mostly conservative. Like, no, dude, they're not. They're not, bro. They're not. Go touch grass, please. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. And if you notice the way they always do these kind of arguments, they're always attacking the bottom. They love attacking employees or the artists, especially in this case, but they don't really like attacking shareholders or these really like big in the field, like they own most of stocks, like Chapek, for example, he owns a lot of stocks. They're trying to protect what communists would call, and I'm not a communist, I'm just kind of making a joke, but the capital class. They love doing that. They're just being slick with it. They can't be too direct where people are like, wait, why are you attacking employees? Like, you're being really slick and picking and choosing who you're attacking. They don't want to like full out blame corporations, as they just said. They why are they like corporations in the past? Why are they being as greedy? They need to be greedy, more greedy. And the thing they're also harking back to, and they're forgetting, is again what I just said. Corporations back in the past did appeal more to white conservatives or whatnot because you guys were more, or they were more of the population at that time. That's not the case. It hasn't been in a while. It's a lot more brown people, etc. That's what they're trying to appeal to. There's a big bag out there. A lot of Latinos go to the movies nowadays.
After anybody and everybody who kept trying to say Shang-Chi was a failure.
Just dumb. Why are we comparing
And they're hanging on this idea.
It wasn't a success. On the contrary, it shows what massive bomb it.
A third of the Marvel TV shows, if you can call it that, as far as the recent ones. I watched the rest of Hawkeye, and I've seen half of WandaVision.
Yes, and you like him.
So even only seeing that, I still enjoyed Spider-Man No Way Home without having any problems understanding what was going on, who the characters were, and all that business. So you've just lost
You didn't know
what you
who
had
No Way Home was?
to make everybody have to go see movies like
What?
Captain Marvel.
What? Captain Marvel made $1 billion.
That is the
What?
question that should be being asked.
That's so dumb. What? You know everyone is Spider-Man, bro.
With the Rama over
Okay.
the last 2 days, based on your recent recommendations.
All right. I'm gonna just tell you their last argument, just because I got to end this video soon. But basically, their last argument, it was something stupid. It was about basically like one of the chatters basically said, "Oh, everyone says that Spider-Man is just of course it was supposed to make $1 billion." Their argument based off that chatter's whatever argument, like it was a random chat. It was like, "Oh, but what happened to why was the Amazing Spider-Man not Teflon in the box office?" And my answer would be, dude, it made almost $1 billion as well, even after having a mediocre first film and not being attached to a universe. And this was during Marvel's prime. So obviously, that was still a box office success. What are they talking about?
Like it's
Look,
better for us.
Miles
to leave up
Morales and
just the main
Spider-Gwen are coming.
topic videos. So.
You know where they're
And
going with this.
because like these like 3-4 hour live streams, if we were to leave them all
Oh
up,
God, you know where they're going with that. Anyway, thank you guys for coming through. I mean, it's just there was so much I could have went through that whole video, but I'm not. Just really bad takes. Like as you see on that screen, they're about to go slam Miles Morales for being black, Spider-Gwen for being a woman. And watch, they're gonna make a lot of money if they get live action films adaptations. Watch, they'll at least make 800 mil at least. But whatever. Oh, and they did make the argument. Oh yeah, and why didn't that not also apply to the cartoon animated into the Spideyverse? Think about that. They're comparing apples to oranges. Why didn't it apply to a cartoon? By the way, the next one should make a lot of money. I think it will, based off of they got people, people checked it out and it got a lot of hype and a lot of love. So I do believe the next one do well, but just dumb, just very dumb arguments. But all right, guys, thank you for your patience. Yeah, this was fun. Hopefully next time I can get some people on here. So you don't have to hear my boring voice the whole time. And thank you for chilling with me. You guys take care. Bye.